Oh, it is fantastic to welcome onto the call today the lovely Victoria. So, Victoria, explain a little bit before we start talking about Victoria as a sports nutritionist, as a dietitian, as every bit of your toolkit. Tell us a little bit about you as a human being. It's a very deep question. You as a human being.
Yeah, as a human being. Um, I guess for me, I'm a mum first and foremost, which is the bit I'm most proud of. That's the human factor, isn't it? So I've got two boys. I've got a 14-year-old and 11-year-old. I'm a single mum. I've just moved house, and I guess my passion is my boys and health and well-being. I'm really somebody that's passionate about a healthy lifestyle, fulfilling a healthy life in lots of different ways, but also health and fitness is one of the things I'm really passionate about, as well as helping people, which kind of links to my profession and how my career's developed really. um, I love sport. I love keeping healthy, keeping fit. So my background is running, half marathons, and then I entered into the world of triathlon
Wow.
probably in my early 20s, and then had children, and things changed a little bit, and my career changed a little bit, and I needed to refocus and rebalance, and I'm pleased to say that I've kind of found those things again now. Now that my boys are a little bit older, so I guess I balance and juggle a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
are you still able to do all that sporty, well, within lockdown reason and all that kind of thing? Are you still able to live that sporty lifestyle that fuels you so much when you're running a busy job, a daytime job, and you're running your business
yeah,
alongside that? Tell us a little bit about how life all kind of fits together.
yeah. I try my best. It doesn't always work, but I'm realistic, and I don't put myself under too much pressure. Is what I would say. I've been through periods where I have,
Mhm.
and then you enter into the risk of the burnout, really, don't you? So I really don't put myself under too much pressure. I don't take things too seriously. I just do what's within my, what's practical and what's feasible, and I don't beat myself up about it. If there's an event or something I fancy doing, I do it for me rather than doing it for any other reason.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I haven't done anything probably for 18 months, 2 years. And that's not because I don't love doing things like that. It's just because I just enjoy doing things, not necessarily doing sort of big events and working towards sort of doing big events. I just like training and doing things within my own time these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
But I always prioritize it. It is hard when you're juggling a million balls in the air, but I found ways to make it work, to build it into my day-to-day life.
Well, that's
Um,
what we tell our clients to do, isn't it?
yeah.
So being able to live that ourselves. So tell us a little bit about the daytime job before we go on to the business.
Yeah, so I qualified as a dietitian in 2001. So I've been at this for a long time. I started working for Hywel Dda University Health Board, and I've been there ever since. Progressed in my career, did the general sort of medical surgical stuff, critical care, worked in community, did a wide range of things. And then gradually, as my career progressed, I entered into more management, so more of a people management role, and my current role is a service manager, so I manage teams of dietitians across 4 hospital sites.
Wow. And so has your business then allowed you to reconnect with the people that you were enjoying treating before you were drawn into that management?
You've hit the nail on the head there completely. Yeah, absolutely. So having entered into that role, what I found was I was really missing that sort of the engagement with people, which is why I went into dietetics and why I went into the profession. So a couple of years ago, again, I was reevaluating, well, what do I do? What sort of drove me to enter into dietetics? Health, well-being, sport, fitness. Okay, how do I get that connection back? How do I achieve this balance? And I thought, do you know what, I love learning, I love knowledge, and I love sort of challenging myself. So I decided that as well as the day job, I'd go back to university. I went back to Leeds University and I studied for a master's in sport and exercise performance nutrition because interestingly, you know, and it's a bit of a strange thing, even though you're a dietitian, you still can't advise and work in sport. So you can't work with athletes unless you've got a master's in sport.
Interesting.
Because sport is a science in itself, and anybody that, you know, it's delved into sports nutrition will understand how complicated it is and how it's a science alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to Leeds, studied to do my master's, and thought, right, well, this gives me the ability now to do something differently, you know, to combine my passion for sport and health and well-being, and to really develop and push myself to develop a business that could offer that to people. So that's what I did. So again, you know, it's something that I do almost in my spare time, really, around my NHS work, which, to be fair, has been all consuming the last
I bet, of
8
late.
months. But it gives me that sense of, you know, I thoroughly enjoy it. What can I say? I have an absolute passion for it. I love every minute of it. So it doesn't feel like hard work or stressful to me. It just feels normal and natural, and you know, it's something I love doing.
Yeah. So when we look at your example clients, and if someone's thinking, right, actually sports and nutrition specialist, but I'm not a pro athlete, so I, you know, she won't be interested in working with me. So when you look at the range of clients that you work with, and I know you don't just work with sports clients, do you? But what is that range of clients? You know, is it literally like your elites, or is it your weekend park runners, or, you know, give us a flavour, even age spectrum and everything. You know, that was a really easy question to answer, right?
No, it's, you know, it's really diverse, is what I would say, and I think that, you know, it's trying to dispel that myth, really, that a performance nutritionist only works with elite athletes.
So it's not just Usain Bolt that you're working with, then. It's
no, I wish I was. My kids would be chuffed, honestly. No, it's not. The elite is probably the top of the triangle. You know, they do exist, and it's brilliant, you know, when you get those calls. But, you know, they're sort of the top of the triangle. You know, I would say the majority of my work, 80% of my work, is working with individuals who are purely just, you know, really motivated. They want to change. You know, they're training either for a particular goal or purely for their own benefit, to feel better, maybe to, you know, improve their energy levels, or because, you know, in this current, where we are now currently, a lot of people just want to improve their health and well-being, don't they? They want to get fitter, they want to get healthier, they understand the benefits of exercise. They might have a goal in mind, it might be an event, you know, or, like I said, purely for their own benefit. So a lot of my work is recreational, and I call these people recreational athletes. A lot of people that I talk to say, oh, I'm not an athlete, don't call me an athlete. But, you know, I call everybody, anybody that exercises regularly, an athlete. So I see a wide range of people, you know, there's a vast sort of diverse spectrum. And if I give you an indication of kind of the flavour or the type of person that's on my caseload, I call it at the moment, I've got a 16-year-old competitive horse rider.
Wow.
Decided to follow veganuary, and has lost her way a little bit, and has noticed that now that, you know, competitions and things are gearing back up again, that she can't sustain the energy demands of her support by following the diet she has been following.
You don't necessarily think, do you, if someone's on a horse, how important their own strength, fitness, stamina, all that kind of thing. Well, the horse is doing all the work, surely, and it really isn't.
Exactly. A huge amount of core strength involved in that. So yeah, that's one of my clients. I got another client that purely's gotten in touch because he's, you know, he's regularly going to the gym. He's focusing on doing some sort of event soon, but he's not sure quite what. But he's lost a lot of weight and it's plateaued, and he doesn't feel he's getting anywhere, and wants to understand more about, you know, the energy demands of his particular type of regime and how he can then work to improve his nutrition. So I've got him. I've got a talk to a swimming group, so swimmers just on nutrition, and they're young, sort of young athletes. I think the age range is 12 to 16-year-olds. Who else have I got at the
That's
moment?
a really interesting time to get right, isn't it? When kids are playing sport at a high level, particularly as they're going through those teenage years where the growth, the transition, the transformation, hormones kicking in and everything, it must be so important to get nutrition right at that point.
Critical periods. So, you know, you establish your bone mass and your density in those years, you know, for females, you know, for girls, obviously, you know, it's menstrual health. Yeah, massively, you know, the requirements for growth, but as well, you know, things like concentration and studying, and, you know, it's, yeah, huge demands. So it's making sure that, you know, they understand about the importance of nutrition. They equally understand about the risks of, you know, not getting it right.
Yeah. That's real as well, isn't it? Because this, you know, we do these things for recreation, we do these things for the challenge, we do these things often as a stress relief. But if we don't get these things right, and this is where working with you must be so important, and I can see such value in working with you, is if we don't get it right, the stress response that we cause in our body and the knock-on effect of that can undo everything that we believe we're doing, can't it?
Absolutely right, yeah. And again, it's about knowledge and understanding, isn't it? And let's be honest, you know, there's so much wrong information out there. You know,
There's just so much information out there.
So much information, so much wrong information, you know, and everybody's calling themselves an expert in nutrition these days. Even the celebrities are jumping on it, you know, and the influencers and everything else. So you can see how people struggle. And that was part of why I entered into, you know, why I did, you know, did what I do really, was to just try and make sure that there was an opportunity for people to get the right advice, you know, the correct advice, evidence-based advice to support them, because, you know, there's very little, you know, there's not much of it out there.
Yeah, and we're both really, we've talked about this before, haven't we? We are passionate about getting that message across that, you know, there are so many different levels that you can qualify in this field. Absolutely. And for me, it's a joy to be able to work with someone like you, because I know that as a nutrition practitioner, and if people call me a nutritionist, I will stop and correct them. I'm a nutrition practitioner, so I can give advice, I can help to educate, but I know that that is where my qualifications, if you like, that is my boundary. And thereafter, I need to be able to refer to someone like you, who is a qualified dietitian, who can take that next sort of deeper level of the, almost like, I guess it's almost prescriptive care. It's much more bespoke.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's the same for me, you know, in the sense that, you know, I understand my boundaries, and people will come to me going, oh, can you devise an exercise regime for me to complement this? And that's when I go, whoa, no, not my domain. You know, I do my own exercise, but that's where it ends. You know, you need to seek the advice of somebody else.
Absolutely. You know, and that's where these kind of referral partnerships come in, you know, brilliantly, don't they? When we work with great professionals and can refer people on, and it's like, I can't, but here's the person that I know, like, and trust that I can do that with, which is so fab. So it's interesting you start to comment on that there, because, you know, do you ever find yourself in the situation, and I'm asking, that's a proper kind of leading question, because I know that we find ourselves in these situations where someone comes to you and they're like, this is happening for me, and that's really hard, and this doesn't work for me, so I've come to work with you because I just want you to tell me what to do, I want you to tell me what to eat. So if someone's coming to you, how does it work? Are you gonna write them a shopping list? Are you gonna write them a meal plan? You know, are you going to literally spoon feed them? How do you like to work with your client to get the very best out of that relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess everybody is individual. That's the first thing. There's no one size fits all, you know, and
hallelujah.
Yeah, people are different. Sure, Cora, everybody's different. Everybody has different needs, you know, and different behaviors, different lifestyles. So the most important thing I feel, you know, as a starting point is just understanding that individual. So we take time to understand somebody's lifestyle, goals, likes, dislikes, aims, targets. You know, when I can understand what they are, I feel I can work better with somebody. So it's understanding, you know, understanding things from the individual's agenda, really. I work with young athletes as well, you know, young people. So sometimes, you know, we have to marry up with, you know, mum and dad and what's going on and other things. But, you know, it's about understanding the individual first. Then we obviously look at, you know, what I feel I can support with. And for me, the most important thing is trying to enable that individual to develop their own skills, to develop their own knowledge, to understand enough about nutrition and how they can achieve their goals through nutrition, through knowledge. So that's what I try and impact, that's what I try and work on, because I'm not going to be around with that individual forever, obviously.
On their shoulder in Sainsbury's.
This is the thing. So I always think if I can impart the knowledge and support them to develop their own plans, develop their own meal plans, develop their own ideas, that's knowledge that they can then use for life, really. Rather than me going, right, here's a prescriptive plan, this is what I think you should eat, breakfast, lunch and tea and snacks and drinks and everything. I know it's not going to be maintained. It may be maintained for a short-term period, but not in the longer term, because in the longer term, you really have to understand why and what and how, and you know, things change. So whereas a plan might be great at one point in time, it's going to change and evolve. So for me, it is about knowledge, it's about education, but at the same time, I'm not a teacher. You know, I don't sit there with, you know, writing things on a blackboard. You know, it's, you know, it's a co-produced plan. It's something we work on together.
It really is a partnership, isn't it? And I love the way that you talk about it like that, because the education part of what we do is so important.
Yeah.
But equally that you know, responsibility for self.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise we've got the ball, haven't we? You know, and we can't do it for you. We can empower you, we can educate you, but we can't do it for you.
Exactly.
But having that shared, that I love that partnership approach that you have. You know, let's do this together. Let's co-design your plan. Let's work through it. Let's help you to. I guess it's about principles, isn't it, rather than prescription.
Definitely, because I think that gives the most value to people, you know, and I also think as well, you know, with a lot of people that I see, you know, they're not just coming to me on an individual basis. They may have partner, husband, children, other you know, dependents. They don't, you know, they don't necessarily live alone. So I just try and think, right, well, for this individual to get the most value out of this, it would be great if they could apply this to the whole family, really.
Absolutely.
So that it benefits them, but equally it benefits everybody else.
And that's a healthy relationship to be showing our children with food, or you know, our children not feeling they're segregated. You have to eat this because of what you choose to do in your free time.
Exactly.
You know, being able to create a family understanding and a family friendly approach to it takes a lot of the pressure off, a lot of the isolation, a lot of the stigma, and you know, our children learn a lot from our relationships with food, don't they? So
huge amounts, and it's, you know, it's surprising, really, you know, the behavior that they see and what, you know, the way we do things and the way we speak about food, you know, it's incredible how much they take from that, definitely.
So there's some real work that goes into that relationship building to start with, and sort of really getting a feel for what a client is like, and what their needs and goals are, but what their lifestyle, you know, how life operates on a daily basis for them. So working with you isn't just a kind of, right, I'm going to go and see you, you're going to give me a plan, I'm going to go off and it's all going to be fine.
No.
You know, what do you look for in terms of, you know, because it's not just about someone coming to us as a client, is it? It's a very much a two-way relationship. So what do you look for in your clients?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's individual. What I like to do is give people the opportunity, like I said, to develop their own plan with me supporting it. And it's great for them to have something that they've produced at the end of it. But how long it takes to get to that point again is very individual. Um, yeah, I've gone off on a sidetrack there. What did you?
So you're talking about being open to that is really important in terms of the clients that you choose to work with moving forward.
Yeah.
And you talked before as well about, I'm looking for and often sporty people do have that level of motivation, don't they?
Yeah,
But even if someone isn't competitively sporty, but they're realizing, look, I'm really trying to exercise while I'm eating well, but I'm actually just finding I'm knackered all the time, and or I hurt all the time.
Yeah.
So, if it's someone like that actually struggles with their motivation, what are you looking for there? Is it just that readiness to look, I'm really trying to do this, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I have a real motivation to learn?
Yeah, it's a readiness to change, isn't it? It's not just I've been told I need to change, or somebody said I need to do. It's more, right, I feel ready now to make a step forward. That's what I'm looking for. And if somebody's ready to change, then they've started on that journey, haven't they? And then it's about, I guess what I like to consider is that facilitator, just to help them to get to where they need to be. And I apply the evidence, the knowledge then, so that they get the best out of their training and their exercise regime, and they achieve their goals.
And that commitment to sticking to it, I guess, is important, isn't it? Do you like to work with people over a certain period of time? I mean, obviously we've said, don't we, everyone's different, but do you prefer to set the stall to start with? Actually, this is a long process, or this could take this amount of time?
It varies so much. I've worked with people over a length of time, and then I've worked with people for a short period of time. It very much depends on, again, the individual and the complexity of the situation and what's happening for them. So I'm very much somebody that just sees. I don't give it a defined time.
Cool.
It's just when we feel that we've reached where we need to go to, that's when it naturally comes to an end, and I might have clients that then come back to me 8 months later and go, oh, I feel as if I need to reconnect and have a chat because this has changed for me, or something has happened and I just need to sort of touch base with you and see where I go next.
I've decided a marathon's not enough, I'm going to do an ultra.
Yeah.
Other such crazy ideas.
Yeah, exactly, that's what it is. Yeah, definitely.
So there's all manner of people that work with you for all different kinds of reasons, and I guess lockdown has encouraged a lot of us to sort of spread our reach, hasn't it? And working like this on Zoom, do you support most of your clients now on Zoom? Are you supporting people all over the country? I know you're Llanelli based, aren't you, roughly? So
yeah, absolutely. So this gives us an opportunity to connect, gosh, so much wider, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. I see people all over the place, all over the world. Zoom gives us so many opportunities, doesn't it, to connect?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's one of the positive things to come out of this. Is it's so much easier to reach those people where traditionally it was, oh, how am I going to get to you? How are we going to do things? Are we going to meet halfway? Where are we going to? And all these things that were challenging before. It does have its limitations. Obviously, it's a very different way of working, but I find it, it's just easier for people. I think it's easier to fit around everyday life. Presentations and things I find a bit more challenging sometimes, but again, we adapt to different ways of doing things. So yeah, I would say for me, it's all via Zoom these days.
Yeah, and so we can put all your contact details obviously with this video, and we will be doing that. But roughly speaking, how does someone get started with you? Is that initial approach and a conversation?
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice to have that conversation first, just to see, because again, I'm somebody where, I don't want to, I just want to make sure that I can add value. I don't want to be the wrong person. You know, it's about establishing that first and foremost. You know, am I the right person for you? Can I add value? Can I help you? Can we work together to make this work? Because, you know, we're all, you know, value for money is important, isn't it? You know, in whatever job you do, and I completely understand that. So it's that conversation first, and then we go from there.
Yeah, brilliant. So as I say, we will put all the information in there. But supposing someone was a kind of, no, this is a very sort of personal and local thing to me. You know, and we've talked about this before. Or before this call, we mentioned it earlier on in the call. If someone wanted to look for a sports nutrition specialist, a performance coach, that sort of thing, how do they know what to look for? How do they know that they're not just getting some, for want of a better phrase, flunky that's going to go onto MyFitnessPal and give them a whole load of macros and just say, this is what you need? I mean, you and I have talked about this before, and we're just like, how do they know? What should they be looking for, Victoria? You've qualified, you've trained for such a long time and specialised, and learning is your passion. How do they know they're getting the real deal?
So there is a register. So, you know, like with most of us that work in nutrition, there's different registers that accredit your qualifications and your practice. So if you're looking for a sport and exercise performance nutritionist, there's something called the Sport and Exercise Nutrition Register.
Right.
And people on that register are people that have the qualifications, the knowledge, but have equally passed additional qualifications to work with a range of athletes up to the top end. So say the way they do it is that, you know, you could be, say, for example, a big football club would look at the register and go, right, they work in Wales and they'd assign you, and that's how we work with football clubs and teams and some of the athletes at that top level. But equally, for anybody, if you want to assure yourself that you're getting, you know, advice by a qualified sport and exercise performance nutritionist, look at the register, because the names of all the individuals practicing in Wales and beyond are on there.
Yeah, fab. So at least we know what to look out for now. But actually, it doesn't really matter where they are in the world, because they can plug into you, which is fab.
Exactly. Yeah, great.
So what's happening for you in 2021? What are you excited about as we dare to dream of coming out of lockdown?
Well, exactly.
What's happening?
You know, I do hope that we're moving forward, because, you know, I'm really passionate about some of our local events, and, you know, I work with a lot of the organisers in some of our local events and competitions. So it would be great if those can start to, you know, come back online. For me, interestingly, a little bit of a different direction, in that there's an opportunity for some lecturing this year. So they're developing new master's courses in Wales for sport and exercise performance nutrition, because, you know, traditionally, again, we've had to go away to Leeds and other places to learn and do our master's degrees. They're looking at more local courses, so there's opportunities to lecture there. So that may take me in a slightly different direction. And as well, quite exciting is the fact that I'm looking to rebrand this year. So my name has actually changed from Prenderville, which was my married name, back to my maiden name of Jones. Very Welshy, a bit like me. So that's the plan, is a big rebranding. And again, I think, you know, what you've been talking about is very relevant, because my rebranding, what I want to really get out there is that message of, you know, I'm not just here to support the elite athletes. It's a bit of what I do, absolutely, you know, but this is about sports nutrition advice for any age group, you know, anybody, you know, with any condition. You know, you could be, you know, people are complex, there's lots of different needs, you know, they might have lots of different needs and things going on these days. So it's about ensuring that I think I'm just looking at a rebrand that helps to reach out to more people, really.
Yeah, that's an exciting thing for us to watch out for. So thank you so much for being part of this conversation this evening, and I can't wait to share this, and you obviously, with the Tip the Balance crew. It's fabulous to just have someone like you on the team, someone like you who I trust to hand my clients over to when I know I've reached my natural end point with them, knowing that I can say, actually, you need to speak to Victoria, and then to be able to show you as a human being and part of the team is terrific. So thanks so much for being part of the referral partnership. Thanks for your time tonight, and yeah, can't wait to catch up with you again soon.
Lovely, thanks very much.